GM Fox fan, welcome to the All Fox number 3, our June All Fox. Let me get lo-fi up. Thanks, guys. This is our monthly ShapeShift DAO kind of all hands meeting where we get updates from every single work stream about details of what's been going on over the last month. Kind of a more high-level KPI and goal-focused meeting than, say, our weekly op sprint or our bi-weekly operation or workstream office hours. So we've got a whole bunch of presenters that'll be coming up here. I'm going to go over house rules real quick, and then we'll get down to updates. So on the call, we've got a ShapeShift DAO stage chat that we use for all questions and communications. We're not really doing any sort of Q&A during this call today, just because we have so many presenters and so many slides. There's a little bit of courtesy and respect we'd like to give to everyone to just make sure we can get through those different work streams efficiently. So please be mindful of the other presenters as you're up here presenting your stuff. And then hopefully all of our presenters will be watching the stage chat as well, so we can keep any sort of discussion around anything you guys might have during this call inside the stage chat to be responded to. And other than that, yeah, enjoy the updates and product. It looks like you guys are first. So if we got a product representative who wants to kick it off, please jump up. Hey, GM Diggy.
GM, how are you? Also, can we invite Decentralized J Beard? Wait, Justin. Cool. Yeah, so it's not just going to be me. There's a few of us going to be talking today. So I'll just kick it off. Just a reminder of the vision that we envision a borderless financial system built on open decentralized protocols, and that we shall be the pathway into this borderless financial system, an open source, multi-chain, self-custody crypto platform enabling billions to achieve financial sovereignty. Can move forward. Thanks. Okay, so I just wanted to touch briefly on what's currently in flight and then what's coming up next. And then Justin's going to go over some numbers with us, and Beard's going to do a showcase of some of the design system that he's been working on. So in flight, as you guys know, ThorChain support. There's a spike to determine the level of effort for other UTXO chains on app.shapeshift.com in our efforts to get to parity. Pendo, I was just talking earlier with DeFi. It looks like we're almost there. So we are ready on the product side to get Pendo live. We have everything tagged and all of like the funnels ready to go and whatnot. So yeah, just waiting for it to go live. Avalanche support is underway. CalSwap integration is underway. Both of those are making really good progress. Wallet Connect Part 1, MetaMask snaps. There's a spike going on. We still have to have some more conversations with engineering around that on the product side for next steps. The Idle Finance integration, that just kicked off. Actually, it was really cool. We were going to do a bounty on this one. Idle was going to put up some funds. We were going to put up some funds. And then we put together all the details. And then the Idle Finance team came back to us and said, we'll build it. So we kicked that off this morning with their, I guess, their main engineer, and went over the spec and the UI and the UX for that. And he's starting to make some headway on that. So that's really cool because they know their own product probably better than anybody. So we're really excited that they're picking up that project and saving both of our DAOs money. The Yacht Integration is underway. I just got the final architecture for that, so I need to run that past DeFi, and then hopefully that will move into development. Osmosis, the staking part of that is done, and then we're moving on to providing liquidity next for that bounty. And then I know Ocean had found some mobile app developers, and they are kicking that off for wrapping the app.shapeshift.com as the new mobile application for ShapeShift when we sunset the old one. Next. Can you move the slide? Oh, where was the slide we missed there? Oh yeah, up next. So like I said, MetaMask snaps. We have the ability to on-ramp directly with Coinbase, which we think would be awesome. And it's a super easy integration. So we're just waiting on an API key from them. Axelar Bridge, as you guys know, there's a grant potential for this one, a large grant. So we worked through the UX and the spec on this one. We need to put together our pitch by the end of July, and then we have a potential for several $100,000 in grant money that would go to the DAO Treasury if we, I guess, win that grant money. Looking forward, moving Fox ETH liquidity pools off of ShapeShift.com into app.shapeshift.com, and also Fox farming off of ShapeShift.com into app.shapeshift.com. And then Wallet Connect Part 2, another EVM chain. We're looking at Polygon potentially as the next EVM chain to support. Yieldies, I think we're all excited about Yieldies. And like I mentioned before, the new mobile application, looking at bringing in some more single-sided staking opportunities. And Beard and I have been working on the UX for osmosis bonding, even though that's not part of the bounty. We're considering bountying out that piece of the work once the liquidity providing is built. Okay, so I'm going to let Decentralized Jay talk now. He's been diving into some numbers here, so I'll let him take over.
Sweet. Thanks, Tiggy. We'll keep it real short here. Just wanted to highlight on here, and thank you, Darwin, for some quick updates this morning. We are going to start tracking as the DAO revenue streams are growing and that's something that the product team is very conscious of finding ways to generate revenue. So on Darwin's fantastic income statement for the DAO, we're going to start tracking all of our affiliate revenue programs from Gem and Banksa all the way to those ones that are noted as OTW, which is on the way. And so we are going to make sure that high priority is finding ways to generate revenue for the DAO and incorporating that into the product roadmap. So numbers to come there as the integrations follow. So I'll keep it short and sweet. Thanks, Diggy.
Cool. Right. And Justin's going to be, Decentralized Jay is going to be presenting some more information around this in the coming days, as well as they work through some things and some projections.
All right, cool. My turn. I'll try and make this fast. So if you don't know what a design system is, it's like a bunch of different components that build a UI. And we've been slowly building this over time. Next slide, please. So this is kind of our current implementation of the DeFi modals, which you've probably seen. It's kind of a little all over the place, hodgepodge. And so we've been trying to standardize this. Next slide. So this is the current anatomy that we're using of a modal for the DeFi stuff. So you can see it's very well laid out. We have field labels, step title, an input field, and then we have a flex area for anything unique that's specific to that opportunity. And then we have the steps. It's all very clear and very well organized. Next slide. So this is how the overview looks, and this is how it now looks in the new version. And the next slide. Here's deposit, and now how deposit looks. Next slide, please. And then withdraw for the ShapeShift token staking. Also, again, very clear. We're using components. And the next slide. I'm trying to go fast. Sorry.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think it's worth mentioning too that we've done some usability testing on these new style of widgets, and the idea is before we had the stepper going across the top, 1, 2, 3, 4 for the steps. Now the steps are vertical, and each of these sections that expand and collapse as the user moves forward through the experience.
Yeah, what she said. We'll go into this deeper tomorrow if you were very curious on how everything works and looks and stuff, but why this is really important here is that it used to take us maybe 2 or 3 days to knock out a flow for a specific opportunity, but now with all of these components, we can kind of do it in basically 2 or 3 hours. We have all of these things to pull from, and it's very clearly laid out, and it's really easy to put it together, and it looks good and it works well. That's super important. And then the next slide. And this is kind of just a little sneak peek of what we're thinking the DeFi page can become. If you haven't seen this yet in the office hours, a really simple interface that aggregates all of your DeFi stuff. Is kind of the vision there. All right.
Yeah, I think it's worth noting this is probably the 50th iteration of this design.
Yes, we've gone through so many iterations of everything. I think we're finally nailing it down.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, obviously, one of the biggest challenges we have is just finding ways to be able to scale as new protocols, come into the DeFi section. And like Beard was just showcasing, is that we've been trying to build this system that can scale for these other opportunities if they have some unique things. So at least we have a starting point, and then the ability to be flexible as needed, and then also trying to organize the information in a way that is cohesive and can be grouped together in a way that makes sense. Cool, thanks. I think Gray Machine probably wants to go over some stuff for him, and then that's it for us. Thank you.
Let me see if I can get an invite out to. Oh, there we are. GM Gray Machine.
Hey. Yeah, I'll go quickly just as everybody else was. Are we on the slide? There we are. Yeah, sorry, this is ironically a mess of a design for the creative services. But I just try to put visual examples of, oh, there it is. Okay. Of what's going on. So creative services is design and video production support and media support for the DAO. So just a quick overview, ETH Barcelona is going on. So we've done, I had shown some booth designs in the past, but we also did a card that is, I believe, an airdrop. So on the flip side, there's a QR code and all that. So there's just a design that tried to capture the kind of the spirit and color of the vibrance of Barcelona itself. As always, there's lots of marketing graphic support going out. There's Osmo coming up, Coinbase Pay, and then IPFS. That was actually a little while ago, but that was in my to-dos. Probably other stuff I'm forgetting, but I couldn't squeeze any more in here. And then also we're pushing some focus onto YouTube Shorts. So we're trying to accumulate a good number of these. We're going to get like 4 of these ready to go and then start releasing them. So we got 2 done from Willie, one from Danny's talk on DAO tooling, and then one on the way from Josh talking about decentralization and all that. So we're trying to pull from older content. With the proposal to get some new content just didn't go through, so we're gonna kind of dig deep and find some more content. And the intro to ShapeShift is done. We just got a new voice in there, and we're picking out some new music, and that will go up on YouTube soon as well. And then, yeah, internally, I'll have some more stuff maybe to show next time, but I'm trying to create, similar to Beard was talking about, a design system, sort of an illustration design system to kind of work together with all of our landscape elements of backgrounds and mountains and skies and rivers and all that kind of stuff to kind of put this into an easier to use design system. So look for that on the horizon. And that is it for me.
All right. Thank you, sir. I believe up next we've got engineering. GM DeFi.
GM Tyler, thank you. First, just want to give the budget deliverables update. This was getting way too big to have the original plus the stuff that's been added. So I've just cut this down to the diffs of what's currently been updated. So I'm just going to run through really quick one by one. Tokenomic support, previously we had this as deprioritized, but this is going to be implicitly supported via Yieldies as the first yield-bearing strategy that's going to be backing those. Pendo Analytics support is in review, thanks to Mr. Nerdhead for all of his hard work to get it to where it was, and Major Hayes has taken that one across the finishing line now. It's going to be great for product and just the DAO in general, having metrics on how things are going to work. ThoughtChain continues to be in progress, that it just kicked off last time. Wallet Connect integration, Passco's got one final bug that's being worked on currently, but that's extremely close. I think it was mentioned before, the mobile app strategy, that's in progress with an agency via the foundation. So huge props to them to get us closer to being able to shut down some centralized infrastructure and bring the current web app to mobile users as well. In terms of additional UTXO chain support, again, thanks to the foundation, Madam, there's a Doge spike in progress, which is looking basically just like boilerplate and quite simple to get done. Chain agnosticism completed. This is a big one. This allows us to basically treat all chains and assets like in the same way across the stack, and removed some technical debt from the very first iteration of Web v2. On the wallet front, Tallycash, Kepler have been completed since last month and are in production. Once Wallet Connect is done, marketing is going to do a big push with XDeFi, Tallycash, Kepler, and Wallet Connect kind of socials, mutual kind of push there, which would be great. Fox asset page bounty is completely done. You can check that out, app.shapeshift.com/Fox. Yieldy's progress there, the audit's been completed. Got back from Code Arena, which was very thorough. The feedback's been incorporated there, which is great to see, a kind of a Web3 native product offering that we can give to the market. MetaMask, ShapeShift, Snap meetings continued. We've had another meeting with MetaMask, and there's a spike that started on some details around their Bitcoin support and Avalanche. So it's like the first of multiple EVMs. Basic support's nearly complete. That came together a lot quicker than we thought it was. Thought it would. And trade support work has already commenced as well, kind of in parallel. Super promising stuff both on the EVM and UTXO chain side. It looks like kind of the stuff that we have in place is fit for purpose. Kedman had a lot of luck with Blockbook and making it work with Avalanche, which is EVM compatible. So it's extremely promising. The probably if we were all hands on deck, the slowest thing would be getting Unchained to sync. So super promising for additional work. Looking ahead, obviously the bear market is very much here and market conditions continue to change rapidly. Engineering has downsized, the details of which are ongoing. At this stage, at least 4 people leaving, including Josh in the kind of coaching and advisory role. Previously, we had 4 consistent part-time community devs. I've adjusted that down to 2, just based on the output that we've seen from those guys recently. On the technical roadmap, like I said, more EVM. Avalanche is nearly done, looking very promising, and similarly with UTXO. The ThoughtChain stuff is still in progress. MetaMask kicking off, Yieldies, and like Product said, single-sided staking. The Idle Finance is taking that on their own side, which is great to see. Across the board with kind of smaller teams in engineering and product, we're going to have to really just focus and prioritize on the roadmap and kind of readjust from there. But yeah, that's the update from engineering.
Very much appreciated, DeFi. Moving on down the list, we've got marketing and growth. This next one up here. I'm not sure if Toasty or Hunter, the whole crew would like to hop up here.
Hey, Tyler, GM.
GM?
So I'm going to handle this a little bit differently. We just threw an audible about 2 or 3 hours ago of how we were going to handle this slide. So it's going to be a little bit different. I wanted to change from more of the KPI focused and talk about what's going to be top of mind. What I'm sure a lot of people saw go to proposals, had a call with leadership. But essentially, a proposal is going up that will be removing Hunt and myself as workstream leaders and appointing Lindsay as the new workstream leader of marketing and growth, while also simultaneously standing up LATAM as its own workstream with the Smith running that as a workstream leader. And a few other little changes that you can read in the proposal. I just posted it, a link in there. With that being said, I'm super excited for getting feedback on this, people talking about it in the forum. I will be posting all of our usual KPIs and all of the documentation on Friday in this forum. And we will be talking about the KPIs that we hit over Hunt and I being here, a slight direction on which they're headed. But overall, it will be up to Lindsay, if this proposal passes, to establish new KPIs within 30 days of the stream passing and this proposal passing. So I don't want to speak too much on retro KPIs, as they will be changing pretty soon. But I will say that I'm super excited to have potentially Lindsay step into this spot on the DAO and as marketing and growth workstream leader. She's been working really hard lately with a lot of PR good stuff. I had a lot of stuff go out, cross-channel promotions with Unstoppable Domains recently. Lots of media pickup ever since Lindsay started with outlets on Cointelegraph and different investing outlets around the Fox Foundation. She's going to be working really closely with engineering and product if she's appointed as the new marketing and growth workstream leader to establish new metrics, KPIs. Product market fit will be top of mind for her with everybody as well. Just wanted to give everybody that overview because I know it could have been a little bit shocked to see that go up to forum. So I wanted to use this time to present that. Here are some of the KPIs we did establish last time. I'm going to have Hunt run through just a couple key points because we didn't want to leave you with zero data, but just know that the full breadth of KPIs, what we've accomplished over the past 2 months, will be done as a comment write-up on Friday.
Cool. Thank you, Toasty. Yeah, that all sounded great. I'm just going to run through a few KPIs that we set initially as this workstream was established. We're tracking Foxy TVL, and for this month we had an increase in holders by about 15%. We're aiming for 20% month over month. That was not hit this last month, but I am pretty happy with 15% holder increase in these market conditions. We also did lose Fox staked in the Foxy contract. It wasn't a significant number. It was a few million. I mean, I guess it is relatively significant, but in the grand scheme of things, in current market conditions, it's pretty solid in my opinion. Fiat on and off, we're having a little bit of a tracking lag in that department, and I need to get with Banksa and Jam or Lindsay will, if the proposal that we're putting up does pass, and try to get a more realistic understanding of tracking that, or product might take that on. I know they're already tracking that data more actively than we are. I'm sure I'm just having comms issues with actually tracking that data down, to be honest, today. And with Yearn Vault, we did see a loss in actual Yearn Vault numbers and staked. I believe we did have an increase in transactions. I do not believe those are the accurate numbers. I believe the transaction count's 305 in the last 30 days with possibly 61 new users off the top of my head. And yeah, it seems like, I don't know if there wasn't a saved slide or something. I guess I need to go through this, but we did I guess all of this data is from last month, but I guess I just went through data off the top of my head, and this slide might not reflect what I just said.
Yeah, it looks a little, I think this is the old one.
Yeah,
there's
there's
it out a couple minutes before it
cool. At
started.
least I remembered. I wasn't reading. But yeah, we did see an increase in multiple areas. We did go over a number of our goals. I guess I can go to the OX track right now and grab some data for you guys. We have 155% increase on volume on the application in the last 30 days. That volume's 9.87 million. Average trade size is up 183%. 12.12K. Trades are down 9.96%, but these market conditions are pretty rough. That's at 814. Traders are down 3% at 359, and that should probably be enough retroactive data until we move forward with trying to establish new KPIs for this work stream. And I appreciate the community supporting Toasty and I as workstream leaders up until this point, and supporting the DAO and the DAO making it further.
Yep. Thanks everybody. And Friday, I can ping in the general channel and let people know when the KPIs are established for the past 2 months, as they will be changing for the following 4 months.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. I know we'll probably have another discussion tomorrow on governance about the proposal, excuse me, that you guys just posted as well. So I'll definitely direct anyone on the call here to join us tomorrow for further discussion there. And I know we butchered the song earlier for you, Toasty, but I can't help but while you're on stage and acknowledge that it's your birthday. I wish you a very happy birthday, and I hope you treat yourself a little bit tonight if you can.
Yeah, thanks guys. I appreciate it. Thanks, Tyler. Take care.
All right. GM. All right. And up next is operations, which I'm representing. Operations this last month, we spent a lot of time creating lots of databases and spreadsheets, more than we had previously, hence the Giphy there. But going over our KPIs, we previous to this morning, we're at 100% uptime for all of the month of June. But we just had an issue with Fleek this morning that knocked us down to a 99.66, but still a green at the 99% uptime. And unfortunately is something that's like a third-party dependency, but operations still hangs our hat on that 99% uptime number, and we're going to try and always strive for that. So nothing we could really do, but we still are in the green there. Under 10 prod issue escalations per quarter is our goal, and we did have some updates to how we identify prod issues that were recorded in our last operations office hours. You can see though that we had 5 through all of Q2, which is 50% less than the tolerance level. So that's pretty good. The one KPI that we did fail, unfortunately, this month is 50, well, and it's for the full quarter, is 50 total combined DAO contributor hours that are engineering, core engineers contributor hours dedicated to prod issue resolutions. This is kind of a big, rough lump sum assessment of math of how long does it take to get a resolution times number of contributors involved. So it's a little bit of an overestimate, but it's still not in the window of the 50 hours per quarter that we set ourselves up for. So we're going to continue to try and do what we can to optimize efficiency there and give engineers time back. We hope to try and hit that next quarter. Greater than 80% triage resolution rate goal, we did 85 this month. There's only 8 leftover tickets in June that are still inside our triage report tracker. We had no June hot fixes at all, which is a change from last month, and we had no rollbacks at all. So all of the times that DeFi told me to believe him that things were getting better are real and true, and things are getting better in that sense. On the next slide, we've got our releases. So that first column there is May. That includes the percent change from the previous month. And then there's June for our new one there. I'm mostly going to be looking at June, but you can see the comparisons. We've had a decrease in releases per week. I think there's a little bit of fault there in the retreat and some just kind of downtime as we've been organizing for the future that has caused that. But even though we've done that, we still had a 7% increase in commits per release. A little bit of decrease in our commits per week, and a decrease inside our triage tickets created. I don't need to do all of these line items. The new things down here at the bottom, though, that I want to point out is that we started a protocol of testing PRs outside of the release process, and it's a open operations availability to engineering that allows us to get more things into the deployment release schedule a little more efficiently. And we started doing this in May with 5. We increased to 16 of those. We found 8 issues in that would have delayed development, and instead we were able to address those before we got to a release cadence. And we found 15, or so 8 of those were found inside the release, and then 15 were found outside before they got there. So definitely saves some time from continuing to open up operations testing availability. Quick view of our test funds and miner fees. This will be kind of the last month in which it's a big, broad brushstroke of measuring our test fund usage opposite deployment. But you can see measurements of the total commits per month. This is just in web and lib, as well as the total cost of test funds that was requested and sent. And we get kind of an overall average for Q2 of $50.45 per commit that is spent testing. Ops will also be revealing some stuff in the next operations office hours for some future more mindful practices around testing in both deployment and regression, and we hope to severely decrease this cost per commit going forward. So very excited to see the granularity of that develop between now and next month. Update on bounties. We have a really cool top 10 list that you can check out in DWork and see all of the bounty hunters, how much they've done, how many commits they've contributed to, how much they've been paid out. You can see in that top right graph there as well how much Fox has been spent month over month in bounties, and that's kind of just a glorified measurement of the amount of Fox has gone up as the price of Fox has gone down for us to continue to pay out USD values of bounties. There's a whole bunch of aggregate numbers there that you can dig into, as well as use that link there for the analytics of all of our PRs. Big takeaways though, for all bounties in June, we paid 178,655 Fox. And next slide, please. In governance and triage update, we've had 45 governance calls, 217 forum posts, 81 proposals, and over 1,000 voters and just under 9,000 ballots so far. So our little DAO is growing up kind of month over month. We've broken down in Triage in our reports a new form of categories. We're at a 91% resolution rate in June, but you can see our biggest issue right now with reported issues is UI UX and then trade. We hope to, as we continue to classify these errors, find ways to introduce optimizations that will allow us to reduce kind of those percentages across the board in the big problem areas. And I believe that's it from operations. Yep. Now we're on to security. Mr. Nerdhair an invite. GM, Mr. Nerdhair.
GM all. This is my last all Fox with y'all, at least as a workstream leader. As I've said to a few people before, there's some family issues regarding my dad having a surgery coming up, and I need to take a couple of months to, make sure that is I can help support the family in that time. And so I have decided to work with engineering to roll the responsibilities of the security workstream into the engineering as much as possible. We have transferred Pendo, for example. We're transferring a responsibility for responsible disclosure program stuff. I'm writing up a post to propose what to do with that in the future. Use some options. And anyhow, it's been great working with y'all. I'm real sad I've got to leave, but I'll be around and available for if there's a contract audit to be done or some sort of incident response. I'll be available on a piecework basis, but I won't be able to full time. It's very bittersweet. I love y'all. I look forward to able to build cool things with you more in the future.
Jim, well, thank you, Mr. Nerdhair. It's been a pleasure working with you in the DAO, and thank you for all that you've given to the DAO and the security workstream. Best of luck with you and your father on this upcoming surgery. All right. Up next, it looks like we've got support. I will send out an invite to CryptoMag. Get her up on here.
Hey, everybody.
Hello. Oh, there you are. You jumped up when I went down to find you. GM.
Happy hump day, y'all. Hold on, I gotta go back down to find my slides. All right. June updates for support. Wait a second. Is it June or May? I think I changed that by mistake. This is the May recap, but we're doing it in June. And we pushed it later, which is why the date is so much later. Okay. So 584 total tickets created from the previous month. That's down about 40 to 45%. The majority coming from Zendesk, a small bit coming from Discord, but we do want to keep our finger on the pulse of Discord requests as that begins to expand, so we kind of know where to prioritize support and where training and agents will matter most. Median resolution time, 1.4 hours. And another big announcement and big change to just our current product services is we're no longer handling Portis tickets. This probably isn't 100% brand new news to you. We've been talking about it a little bit over the past few weeks. We ended support right towards the end of May for Portis. Obviously, we're still helping out with technical issues, but nothing regarding Portis, the product itself. So our DeFi training is 100% complete. Not only is it prepared complete, we completed the entire training with our team. So our team is fully trained up through the DeFi training we put together. And what we want to do is now open up this DeFi training to the community in the coming weeks. For those of you that are looking for a crash course into the DeFi world, So how we broke it up within our team was about 6 days worth of training. So what we'll probably do is kind of offer bits and pieces of it to the community and try to make it like a reasonable amount of time, 45 minutes here and there if you want to jump into some trainings in the future. I know I found it really helpful doing like this general holistic review on DeFi, but also we target mainly the types of products and services that ShapeShift hosts on the platform. Just a small reminder, Tuesdays from 11 to 1 Eastern time is my office hours. So this is just a great time to come in, chat about strategy, chat about questions on the support team, or just catch up with me and kind of talk leadership, talk conflict resolution, talk anything you want to chat about. We can even, talk about babies if you want, because that's like obviously heavily on my mind right now is baby stuff. But the other major update that I posted on the forum yesterday and goes right along with the theme of a lot of other updates happening here is budget updates and staffing updates. So just in this past week, we reduced our staff by 30%. So 3 agents were let go. CJ, Fox Rain, and Ace. 3 of them made some major contributions to the team, to the company, even during centralized support days. So we're really going to miss them. Doing my best to make sure that they find another role elsewhere. But they also said that they're committed to sticking with the community and they want to see how it goes, track progress, be a part of the Discord channels, and hopefully rejoin us as things burst back into growth mode in the near future. Additionally, we made some benefit cuts to the leadership team. So this was a major chunk taken out of the packages for the major team members, myself, Mogi, and Donna. So there was a 40% decrease in all of our benefits. Salary cuts were also made between Mogi and I. And then there were some miscellaneous cost savings as well due to the downsizing, like our software licenses are obviously much lower now. We don't need as many test funds and just things like that. So the adjusted proposal request is now $28.5 a month versus the original request in the beginning of May, which was $45.6. This is right here on the slides if you guys are paying attention or following along there. So it's about a 38% overall decrease in our budget. And a lot of this, as I stated in the forum post, is because the obvious drop in workload because of the markets being down, which typically means users are down. And also in the recent months, we dropped Portis and Kpis retail off of our scope of things that we have to cover as a support team. So my office hours are a great place to chat about this. Equally on that forum post, if you want to get a conversation going, or if you just want to reach out to me in a DM or anywhere else, happy to chat and answer any questions regarding the work stream. One thing that I will note is due to the staff reductions, we were managing a 24/7 schedule, but we're now sacrificing some shifts that are our least trafficked shifts for the sake of, this lower head count. So overnights on Fridays and Saturdays, there will be longer response times for customers, but we'll make sure to handle any customer satisfaction issues that come up. Hopefully it won't be too big of a deal and we can still at least stay within the realm of responding within 8 to 10 hours. New help desk articles. We had a lot of new wallets, which is super exciting, connecting to the platform. So we have the matching articles to go along with that. You can check out this list right here in the slides. So we've got the Kepler wallet, Tally Ho. We have an overview DeFi section now that we kind of repurposed from our training. And then Mogi is also working with marketing globalization to get some articles migrated over to Lobby, because this really helps with the translation side of things to offer all of our help desk articles in multiple languages. Most viewed articles, getting started with beta and Kpis. I think within that article, it links over to the app experience, app.shapeshift too. So I think that one just has the best SEO because it's been all around the longest. But if people are connecting their Kpis to the platform. Our goal at this point is definitely moving them to the app experience. Although not today, but at about 2 o'clock that did get fixed. How do I find my 2-factor authentication code was another one. Forget password option, and that's that pain in the ass one around the mobile app, but we all know we have some plans to get rid of that issue in the near future. If you have any article suggestions, as always, reach out to Mogi. He's got a list that he's always working through. I know he's working with the product team right now on some Pindo articles, but suggestions are always welcome to get added to his priority list. And then here's just a graph to visualize overall stats, incoming tickets. Definitely dipped quite a bit over the course of the past month and a half, as we all know. Weekly reply times have stayed in a very good range. Obviously, they're a little bit faster because we're doing less tickets. And then overall app reviews and Trustpilot reviews. Saw a little bit of a dip in the Trustpilot reviews for a couple of days last week, but mobile app reviews, we still were able to sustain a couple of those a day during last week. And then for the month, a little over 7,300, well, almost 7,400 unique views to the Help Center. Thanks for your time, guys.
Thanks, Meg and GM, and thanks too for standing up here and updating us about the budget cuts. We know that's never hard to do that kind of a thing here, but it keeps the DAO going. So appreciate you being mindful of that. Up next, we got the CMOD and GK. GM, GK?
GM.
And happy belated birthday to you as well.
Thank you. I should be pretty quick here. The members right now, at the time of the report, of course, was 9611. It was a smaller increase, 0.84. We did a lot more last month because of that. Marketing did some extra cool stuff. The past 30 days, it was actually 120 members, 1% increase, but the dates are a little different for All Fox versus the month. Slide, please. Over 26 raids, and our bot band doubled just by one raid. It's somewhere around 1,841. All the 3 different bots are picking it up really nice. Today's was a little different. We had a little problem with that. The different fake mods, still around just under 2 per day. Global languages hasn't changed. We're still at 3 in the matrix. And next slide. This is a quick sample of the role selector. Engineering has 459 different people watching over there, etc. Different languages are starting to pick up. Slide. Obviously, partner threads are continually growing. It's actually seems to be working rather well. I kind of like that still. The renewal post for the moderation is up. It's in the forum for the ideation section. And it looks like it's getting positive responses. I think there's actually 2 reports of scam DMs now, because I think we had another one today. And the eternal spams, I think we've had 3. I think that's it for me. Thanks.
Thanks, GK. We'll move right along over into tokenomics land with Kent. GM Kent.
Hey, Tyler. How's it going?
Doing well, sir. How about yourself?
Good, man. Excited to talk about tokenomics. So yeah, I thought the choice of our old friend Ceiling Cat was a logical choice for this month's hero image in the tokenomics All Fox, because much like anybody, Ceiling Cat can see everything that's going on, watch what we're doing here in the DAO, thanks to our fabulous transparency, which factors in heavily into tokenomics. I think it's very interesting and notable that when you look at the meltdown that happened between the last time we chatted for the All Fox and now, that was really centered not just on the macro stuff getting worse, but really centered on centralized lending platforms and VCs really kind of melting down, Celsius and Three Arrows namely, and DeFi actually held up remarkably well. Liquidations happen as they should, and it just makes me even more optimistic than ever that we're getting stress test here in a good way. Moving along to the next slide. So I'll be leading with this every single All Fox for the foreseeable future. In terms of what our runway is at. So currently we have about 4.5 million of USDC. And I actually updated this slide just prior to the meeting. So I revised it based on the projected cut that would be implemented if the latest proposal from the marketing growth team were to go into effect. With that spend reduced, we'd be looking at more like $353,000 a month of spend. That's not in addition to some debt service related expenses that add up to close to $100K a month. But TLDR, with those new projections, which you can look at yourself in the tokenomics channel, I pinned the runway projections, but we're now at 11 months of runway. Last month, we were at 9 months. So what's the difference here? You know, we're not exactly stacking stables anymore. Clearly, it's because of all the difficult decisions that have been made with respect to cutting the budgets. You know, this has been a tough time for the DAO in many ways. I will say, you know, that we're not alone. We're in a good company in crypto. A lot of most projects and companies are reducing spend to react to the bear market. So these are just projections based on what looks likely to be implemented in July and August. I'll continue to update these as we go along. Also note that these assume we're not accumulating any more revenue via or any revenue via our various partnerships and DeFi strategies. That's not exactly accurate. Right now we're generating maybe like 30K a month in revenue, and also we're stacking an average of about 100,000 USDC via our Olympus Pro bond. But again, you know, we want to be very conservative with these projections and assume the worst case scenario. As a reminder, and going back to the theme of transparency, the treasury wallets, revenues, and expenses of ShapeShift DAO are all visible online, thanks to block explorers, but leveraging the power of that. And so lovingly crafted and maintained by Darwin, we have these wonderful dashboards. Jump into that dashboard channel and check the pin message for links to those if you want a up-to-date view in terms of not just our stablecoin holdings, but everything else pretty much. I also note that our dashboards include a multi-chain view, so you can see what we have in Colony as well, and then throughout our various DeFi platforms where we have a presence. As a reminder, so you'll notice if you look at those runway projections, there's a column where I've assumed that the average there'll be an average of 5% of all salary going to boosted Fox, which reduces our monthly USDC spend. That's kind of an guess based on last month's like our initial opt-in, which was about 5%, I believe. Thinking that we'll probably get somewhat more in July and August, and also factoring in that the current projections do include some contributors already taking boosted Fox. So that's a bit of a educated guess, but again, I'll revise that moving forward. But the key takeaway here is if you're a contributor to the DAO and you're bullish on the long-term prospects of Fox and the DAO, you can choose to receive any portion of your salary, you know, a small portion or even up to 100% of your salary in time-locked Fox, and receive the added Fox that you get here with an associated time lock on that boosted Fox. Shifting over to what we've been working on, this is kind of more in the DeFi space here. You know, it's not just all sort of circling the wagons and thinking about the runway. We need to build for the future as well. So we have Yieldies, which is it's basically a evolution of Foxy, in the sense that it's a new financial primitive that can allow users or holders to frictionlessly earn yield on any asset, really, any sort of like ETH or any ERC20. It's likely we'll start with ETH and USDC, but essentially, you take your ETH or USDC, deposit them into the Yieldy contract, and then get a Yieldy token in return. And then through the magic of rebasing, your balance will increase. And why will it increase? Because we will then take that token and employ it in various DeFi strategies, TBD. Tokamak would be the most obvious one. It's what we're using for Foxy. Of course, those rewards are down along with everything else. But those will be details to be ironed out. But I think it's a very elegant and powerful sort of thing that is actually unique to ShapeShift. I'm not aware of anything else that exists like this in the DeFi landscape currently. Next slide, please. So about an hour before the All Fox, I got this posted to Boardroom Snapshot. So this is live on chain. Ulysses has already gone through the governance phase through the post and ideation portions. So please give this a look and a vote. It's also worth noting that the creation and maintenance of Yieldies doesn't require any meaningful outlay of stable coins or really any funds from the DAO. The building of the contracts and the auditing of the contracts is already covered. So this does not impact our runway in any way. Moving forward, there could be sort of ad hoc type expenses, but I can't really think of anything right now off the top of my head. The TMDC will actually be tasked with managing the strategies that make Yieldy earn revenue. So anyway, give that a look and keep an eye on Yieldies because I think it's super cool. On another governance-related note, yesterday I posted a draft proposal of the tokenomics workstream for Q3 and Q4. So really outlining the next 6 months of the work stream. I do a bit of a retro in terms of our prior goals. One of the goals was stacking 10 million in stables. We clearly didn't get there. I list some reasons why we fell short of that, talk about our other work, kind of just discuss what we're looking at for, especially runway and sort of extending that in Q3 and Q4. Budget-wise, I'm also very mindful of, what everybody's doing to reduce our spend. So I'll be taking my entire monthly salary just in Fox, in a time-locked Fox for a year, because I want to do my part as well to reduce that spend. Looking forward to discussing that further. And I'll probably move that to ideation next week, unless there's any other discussions around this. A quick update on the TMDC front. So one of the things that we had to be very mindful of as Fox declined with the broader market is the making sure our RARI loans are sufficiently collateralized. Unfortunately, this resulted in us having to add a good deal of FEI into those pools, which was converted from our USDC. In Q2 alone, we added 1.5 million in collateral. So, kind of seeing the double-edged sword there of taking out loans. It's not as much fun when the token that you're providing as collateral declines in value. But, this is not something that's going to break the DAO. It's just something we have to, deal with. And there are some monthly expenses related to that. But the outcome of all that is that our liquidation points for both our loans on these pools are a little bit below 2 cents of Fox. So Fox would have, in other words, Fox would have to drop below 2 cents for those to get liquidated. If the bear market continues and Fox does drop that low, which is 100% possible in this environment, I personally don't think we've bottomed out just yet. We will continue to be very, very very closely monitoring those. And in fact, the TMDC has authorized our multi-sigs to automatically add more collateral if it gets too close. Also, incoming soon will be a proposal for a new allocation of Fox to the TMDC. So we potentially could have more to work with pending community governance approval. And next slide, please. And VFox. Okay, finally, just a quick update. We haven't talked about VFox too much lately. You might remember we had our first strategic allocation into ElasticSwap. Awesome team doing novel AMMs for rebasing tokens. That was a initial portion out of the governance approved up to $1 million for VFox. Obviously, we're not about to YOLO into a bunch of projects right now because that will take away anything we allocate towards will take away from our runway unless, and this is an important caveat, there may be projects out there that would accept Fox or at least a portion of Fox. We've seen that a few times, projects indicating that. But anyway, we're maintaining a really highly selective posture, giving our limited runway, but still, being mindful of we think we can find the right balance between making some very careful investments in this environment, but also, wanting to protect that treasury. So we're still vetting various promising projects. We've looked at a couple recently. There's going to be a lot of projects out there that are more interested in finding funding than ever because typically in a bear market, and this seems to be no exception, funding dries up from VCs and other sources as capital gets more conservative. So there'll still be a room for us to, I think, find some smart opportunities here. And that's it for tokenomics, guys. As always, if you have any questions, jump into public tokenomics and let's hang out. Have a good one.
Thank you so much for all of the updates across the various projects you're working on, Kent. Looks like up next we've got the Foundation. We got Ocean, GM Ocean.
Hey Tyler, how's it going?
Doing well, sir. Doing well.
Good. All right. So last month, just some updates from the Foundation. I think everyone's aware that app.shapeshift.com is now being served by Fleek. If you weren't before, you probably are now due to the outage this morning. So we are still waiting for a postmortem on exactly what happened there, but it was down for a few hours this morning and blocked some deployments as well. The eth.limo URL did function in the meantime, so that was a nice reassurance, but still a bummer that we saw that happen. So we'll get some more information on what went down there. On the mobile application side, we are working with AppMakers, a company that's helping to wrap app.shapeshift.com and a React Native wrapper that would allow us to replace the current legacy mobile applications both on Android and iOS devices, and basically migrate all users to app.shapeshift.com users. So that's one step closer to us being able to deprecate a lot of the legacy AWS infrastructure, which is a large portion of the Foundation's budget, and also just in general get more users on app.shapeshift.com. So a lot of great stuff going on there. The data transfer of user information from ShapeShift AG has been completed. Users were notified via email. There were some complications with that email campaign, unfortunately. I think there was just a couple of, learning experiences around taking an email list that was not been emailed in a long time and sending out a very large email. So we are working on improving the deliverability of that along with marketing and growth to help us get that back to a place where we have emails that aren't going to spam. And shout out to Kent's wife for some help there too. Really appreciate the expertise. I think we go to the next slide, please. Just an overview of the next steps then for us in the Foundation. So the technical design document is going to come from AppMakers LA once they go through this spike that they're currently working with the Foundation on. That will be presented to engineering within the DAO for kind of approval, since the engineering workstream will eventually take ownership of that code base. And then we'll go forward with the implementation, most likely with AppMakers as well. And that will facilitate the migration. We kind of, as mentioned earlier, Adam's also been working on a spike to determine the level of effort for adding additional UTXO chains. And depending on some conversations there, we'll probably bounty out the remaining UTXO chains that would bring us to parity with the with beta. From there, we have the wallet backup email campaign that needs to happen for native wallet users to make sure that they are in control of their seed phrases with the migration path. Eventually, then we will have a way of eventually sunsetting the auth servers altogether and allowing people to receive an encrypted copy of their seed phrases kind of as the last attempt to make sure they have it backed up, and providing them a front end which would be able to decrypt those seed phrases if the foundation is no longer in existence at that point, and we can start to really deprecate all of the infrastructure that we're hosting, and that would potentially be the wind down of a lot of the foundation. We still may exist in name and to hold some of these accounts and to facilitate billing, but really the technical footprint of the foundation at that point would be gone. So it's possible that we're not that far away from achieving that goal, which is really great to see. Our next board meeting, also just throwing it out there, is in August. So we'll again provide whatever information we can to the community from that board meeting. And also feel free to reach out to us. There's a Fox Foundation channel on Discord, and we're happy to help the DAO in any way that we can. So always feel free to reach out and see what we can do. That's
awesome. Thank you so much, Ocean. Super stoked to see how quickly the foundation is achieving the goals that you guys set out there. And looks like we're just 2 minutes over on time. So good job, everyone, on getting through your slides. Look forward to seeing you join us next month for All Fox or any of the rest of our community calls, and make it a good GM.